What up, y'all? Excellence. I just want to make a video about the importance of patience, self-control. And the reason why I picked those two words is because for those who don't believe in God, this may not fully apply to you. So I picked self-control and patience because those words can be attributed to anybody, to any situation in life. But for those who do believe in God and a higher power, this is where faith comes in. Because when you think about it, just think about this. When you got faith, you can't have self-control or patience without faith. It does not take any root. It does not grow without those two things. And the reason why I say that, and if you already understand where that applies, you already get it. But self-control and faith, those two things go together. Because when you feel like you want to make a decision or you want to take things into your own hand, the Bible says vengeance is God's. And even if you're not even thinking vengefully, taking things into your own hands as if you need a meal or something like that, trusting in God means that self-control kicks in when those moments that you want to do a decision that may hurt your future or in the moment make you do something that's not really in your character. Most people that do things wrong, it's not in their character. They created habits by not trusting in God, and they started making habits that became a part of who they are. So decisions aren't who you are. The habits are who you are. The habits are what create the person that you become. So when you want to become a good person, you have to create good habits. You have to create a great mindset, a good mindset, a positive mindset. So then when you think about patience, that patience also kicks in when you got faith. Because now you say, all right, I'm going to trust, I'm going to have self-control. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that, right? But then the patience means that you have to wait. And you have to be patient with the process that comes along with however long it takes for things to work out the way you want them to or the way that is best for you. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of faith, is that it embodies most of the qualities that it talks about in the Bible, whether it's love, joy, peace, long suffering, kindness, goodness, faith, self-control, mildness. All those things come into your faith. But for those who don't believe in God, those qualities are something that you can embody regardless. Love, joy, peace, long suffering, kindness, goodness, faith, mildness, self-control. So you don't even have to believe in God, but it helps to push your moments of doubt through, so that it breaks that glass that's keeping you from consistently being something. Because a lot of times people say, I'm living for this person, or I'm doing this for my kids, or I'm doing this for this and this and that and that. But the thing about having God in your life is that he can never be taken away. He can never be taken away. And even if it's just an idea, it can never be taken away. And that's why you hear a lot of people say God exists in you, because he has to. He has to, in order for your faith to be really rooted. He has to exist in you. He has to be a part of your thought process and everything. So, for the people that don't believe in God, there has to be something that's rooted inside of you that motivates you to do the right things when there's nothing else there. Because a lot of people say, well, I got my kids. They're my motivation. True. But what if something happens to them? That happens in life. That's the worst part about having consistency in anything, is because whatever can be taken away. That is why that illustration about Job, taking it back to the Bible, sorry, but the illustration about Job was so essential, because he had everything taken away from him. And that was in that very moment that he was being tested on what his faith really was based on. Was it the house? Was it the herd, a flock that he had? Was it his wife? Was it his kids? You know what I mean? Was it just the overall success that he was having as a person? But in that moment that he had his health taken away, everything was literally taken away from him. That is why I really feel like the higher power has to mean something to people. I want to say God because that's really what it is. You know what I mean? People have to, you know, every walk of life has something different in how they see it. But at the end of the day, there is definitely something that makes everything become what it is. And those who are rooted in that have something way more grounded inside of them that keeps them more consistent at whatever they're doing. Because you don't need to see the outcome. All you have to do is be grounded in who you are and what you believe in to be able to conquer those things, to be able to come out on the other side, remaining the same person that you started. Because that's the hardest thing. And I don't mean remaining the same person that you started. Because if you didn't have good intentions, that is not where you want to, it's not where you want to be, you know? But remaining the same person as who you are, as like, you weren't ever going to do anything. Most people don't want to do anything outside of their character. But there are people that do. Now I'm saying not out of their character, because character is supposed to represent good. But you could have bad character too. But you want to have good character. And a lot of people don't see the essential purpose in it, but it really does help everything else around you to become what it is. You know, a lot of people always focus on their ideas of what they think things are supposed to be. So you can't really see outside of the forest and the trees. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can't just focus on one tree. If you just pick one tree to focus on, it's always going to, it's literally going to shape how you see the whole thing. And the whole thing isn't just one tree. The forest is the forest because of so many trees. And every tree plays an essential part in why that forest is a forest. You feel me? It's not like, oh, that one tree makes the forest. No. In some people's eyes, that is how life works. They are the forest. That they themselves are the forest. They are the essential thing that everything needs. And they believe that. Unfortunately, all those other moving parts created the forest that they believe that they are. Or repeat that. The moving parts, the other trees that are surrounding them, are what made them believe that they are the forest that they believe they are. And that is only because they have taken a more narrow view of things. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I mean, listen, we all learn from everything. We learn from everything. That's why when you see people overly criticizing people for their mistakes and things that they did wrong, that is something that you can either learn from or continue to become. And a lot of people do not understand that that's not like your decisions, no matter how bad they are. That's why you got to forgive yourself, because the forgiveness is what molds you to say, okay, I want to do things better. You know what I mean? A lot of people continue to make the same habits because they can't forgive themselves. They can't see that there is something that they can do inside of them to make the changes necessary. And a lot of other people around them force them to be that one-dimensional person, because they could continue to remind them of the mistakes they made. You know what I mean? And all the good that they try to do will never really, you know, suffice to anything that makes them feel like they are worthy of being whatever they feel. And sometimes it even prevents them from getting the very things that they want. The love from a specific person, the attention from a, you know what I mean, the job they want, whatever it is. It continues to be something that constantly gets in their way. But that's what I'm saying, self-control and patience. Because in those moments that you feel like you're not getting what you want, you're not where you are, where you want to be, those moments of self-control and patience have to kick in. You have to be like, you know what? I need to do something different. I need to do something different. I need to not look at this the way that I'm looking at it right now. And it takes a really strict mindset to do this, because for one thing, you are with yourself every day. And a lot of people don't really understand that specific thinking. It's like you may not even know you're being selfish, You may not even know that you're always looking for things to go your way. And I'm a prime example of that, because I just the other day I was just thinking about this. Like, I was just like, man, sometimes when I don't get what I want, I'm forcing things to be what I want them to be. And if I'm not forcing them, I'm trying to manipulate it in a certain way. Or if this is not the way I see it, I'm completely taking myself out of the equation. Or when the success is not building the way I see it, then I'm not as consistent as I want to be. And that's the reason why I have to like really put steps into place, a procedure, a system, a process that makes sense to me. And even if it doesn't make sense to me, you know, just to continually do something that I care about every single day, one way or the other, you know what I mean? And that's where the process becomes something more than that. That's where the habits start to be formed, you know what I mean? And a lot of times people haven't had good role models around them. The good role models are being taken away and shamed and so many things. So you got to find a way to seek the things that make a great role model, which goes back to those fruitages of the spirit that I was speaking on. Whether you believe in God or not, if you embody love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faith, mildness, self-control, if you embody those, you are a great role model. You are a great role model. And there is no consistency that is really going to be able to be really administered to your life. Like, you're not going to really be able to do all those things all the time. But the thing about it is, that is why long suffering is a part of the fruitage of the spirit. Because just like we're not able to do everything all the time, neither is anyone else. So long suffering comes in. That means that you have to have patience to have long suffering. Long suffering. It could have just said suffering, but long suffering, meaning that you're taking on something for an extended period of time and willingly embracing the fact that you are taking on something for an extended period of time. That is not an easy idea to even grasp or to even want to be a part of. Nobody wants to be a part of that. And you know what's so funny? I'll be trying to tell people, like, you know, you'll see basketball players and they'll be in certain situations and they just like, nah, I don't want to do this no more. I'm done. I don't want to do this. Trade me. Release me. I don't want to be here no more. But, you know, a part of your process is not finding every opportunity to exit it. You know, a lot of people are just trying to find ways to, like, when they get there, when they get to where they first started, or the very place that they're actually to exit, they were cool. They were fine with it. But then as they get older, or they feel like they've reached a certain plateau in their life, then they want to exit it. But those moments, those plateaus, they create themselves. They are things that they come in their own time. And when you try to forcefully and resourcefully try to get out of those situations, you're hindering your growth. There's a process that didn't complete itself. It's almost like you playing a certain level in the game and you jump to another level, but that one is still like 77% done. It was something that was needed there that didn't get complete. And a lot of times you don't even know, because there's nothing that you can say like, oh, well, you didn't see that. Like, there's no percentage placed on different avenues or parts of your life. It's like people that say, oh, I give up on raising my kid. This, like, he'd be like 18, 22, 30 years old or whatever. And you're just like, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. If they don't want to let me in, they don't want to talk to me, fine. I'm out of it. But sometimes things just don't go as we like the ideas that we create for ourselves prevent us from actually getting to where we want to be. And sometimes, you know, those people that be like, oh, I'm not giving up. I don't care what nobody says. I'm gonna find a way to get to where I want to be. And sometimes that idea has to be as broad as the resourcefulness that you have inside of you, meaning that whatever you feel like you're chasing or you're trying to accomplish has to have branches on that tree. You know what I mean? Every branch go on in its own direction, every branch having a branch and a branch connected to that branch. But at the end of the day, Leaves are on all of them, and that's the essential part of the whole process. Is that you gotta look at it like, okay, I want to be a basketball player, whatever the situation. I want to be a singer, but sometimes you don't become a singer. Sometimes you become a person that works behind the scenes with singers. Sometimes you become a basketball coach and you're coaching little league. The passion of what you love has to come back down to what the general nucleus of what it is. You know what I mean? Keeping it broad to being able to say, I'm doing the very thing that I love to do, which is be around basketball, be around singing, be around art, be around music, whatever that nucleus of the idea is, and let it broaden itself. Because the thing that people fail to understand is that everyone that wants to be a singer can't be a singer. Everybody that wants to be a singer won't be a singer. And it's nothing wrong with that, because the passion that you have about music can take root anywhere in life. Anywhere in life. Anywhere in life. And if you listen to a lot of people's success story and they say, oh, I want to be a basketball player, even the person that said they wanted to be a basketball player and they become one. What if you're sitting on the bench? What if you're not a superstar? What if you're not getting multi-million-dollar deals? What if you're not getting 40 minutes a night? Are you still not a basketball player? A lot of people start to believe that. They start to believe that they're not fulfilling their dream. They're not living up to their potential. And your potential is being the best version of whatever you are. You know what I mean? Creating the opportunity and waiting for the opportunity to be that. And a lot of times, you know, you find people that become so miserable that the very thing that they love to do becomes miserable because of the ideas that they put in their head. They tell themselves that this is what they see themselves being. And life does not work like that. Life does not work like that. You know, it's almost like when when a woman gets pregnant and she knows what her man looks like, she knows what she looks like, she sees some of the family members have babies and how they grow up, and then they start to have an idea of what they think their baby's gonna look like. Unfortunately, I have met no one that has said that what I thought my baby was gonna look like, it looks like. Never met anybody. Never met anybody. And that's the thing. Life takes its own form. Those ideas do not have anything to do with it. Had nothing to do with it. Not as far as what it visually is. Now, when you talk about how a person acts or how a person moves and all those different things, sometimes our mindset can't even go that far. So we're missing so many parts of what makes a person who they are that we're just focusing on what they're gonna look like, or how tall they're gonna be, or what they're gonna sound like when they speak. And you know what I mean? It's so much more to that person. What their interests are, what do they believe in, and what makes them smile, what makes them laugh, the personality and everything. All of it is something way more intricate into the development and the overall process of who a person becomes. So when I go back to patience and self-control, those things are essential to the development of a person, because you have to be grounded in something. You have to be grounded, because otherwise you're going to be forced to make decisions, subconsciously forced to make decisions that don't fit the reality that you're looking for. And sometimes along the journey that you're chasing, the very things that you want the most, the things that you're trying to work so hard to gain, that lack of self-control, that lack of patience, that lack of faith constantly comes in there and shakes things up. And it almost makes it where you're starting over constantly. You know what I mean? And especially when it comes to other relationships, whether it's with a partner, family members, you know, you try to show somebody you care about them, but it has to be from the heart. You have to want to show people that you care about them from the heart. It can't be based on, oh, well, I did this for you, and I don't know why you can't see it, or this is what I do for you, so this is how you should see it. You know what I mean? Everybody's version of how they show their care is different. And how we look at how everybody shows their version of caring is different. So self-control and patience is definitely necessary, because everybody's not really made up to be everything we want them to be. That guy you're dating, he has to have the same ideas and the same experiences that you had to really even come close to being the idea of the man that you want. You know what I mean? And then vice versa. For her to be the woman that you want, she has to have had the same experiences and the same ideas that you had. And you know, and a lot of times people don't even have the same interests in what you have, so them two things kind of conflict. But when people are looking for the right things in a partner, those other things don't really become an issue. Like, you'll find people that some of their biggest interests in life conflict with the other person that they're dating, but where the things that matter most, that's what keep them together. And it's a beautiful thing, because love does not pick and choose. Because when you really care about somebody and you see that they really care about you, a lot of the things that you thought were main preferences or essential things that you were looking for in a person really start to become void and unimportant. And that's why you have to have that level of patience, because you know, you got to start seeing things from a different view, and you can only start to look at things from different views when you have the patience to do such. That's why I was using this example of a person that, when you walking in life, like when you're walking down the street, the person you're walking with, you gotta walk at the same pace as them. If that person walks fast, it's a conscious effort for you to keep up with them. If the person walking slow, it's a conscious effort for you to slow down your pace and to stay with them. And vice versa. Vice versa. You can't walk side by side with anybody in life without one or the other compromising at some point. Some days he's gonna walk super fast, and other days you're gonna walk super slow. And the conscious effort for y'all both to walk side by side takes that willingness to sacrifice. Whether you're gonna be a little more tired at the end of the walk, or if you're gonna be, the person might not feel like they're walking as fast as they want to walk. Or, sometimes it's a rush, and you have to have that level of concern for where that person is trying to go. So if that person is late and they want you to walk with them, you meet somebody in the street and you're trying to sell them something, the person that's the salesperson that's trying to make the sale, and he's trying to keep up with somebody that has something to do, his effort has to be into walking the same pace or speeding up the pace to keep up with the person he's trying to sell. And that is life. Whatever the situation is, whether you're trying to do well in business, you got to keep up. You have to adapt your speed to whatever is necessary. A lot of times you always hear people, well, I'm only one speed, I can only run. I'm always about fast life, fast things, fast everything. And then you hear people that are like, I just like to just chill, relax. And only way those two people, that fast person and that chill person, can coexist for a long period of time is when both of them can find a way to be open-minded in some sort, where it comes to, I'll walk slow today, I can do things fast, but maybe I'll just talk fast, or maybe I'll just do this fast, maybe I'll just think fast. Something, you compromise, you find a way to work together. You know what I mean? That is jogging in place as the other person is walking. Whatever it is, you have to find a way to compromise. And that's just about life. Being able to compromise with a person. And you notice also, when two people are walking together, the closeness in which they walk together. If they're friends, it's a group of them, you can tell how close the group is. It's always that one person in the back that doesn't feel somewhat comfortable, or may not feel like this is the crowd for them, or they might not feel the most important person in the crowd, so they walk in the back or they walk in the front. But side by side, close, you can tell that those two people care about each other. Whether it's a brother and a sister walking to school, you can tell. Or if that's a girlfriend and a boyfriend going somewhere together, or a couple taking a walk on on a strip after a movie or a dinner. The closeness in which people walk tells you everything about the relationship. And if they're holding hands and the touch is there, it's all essential. But you cannot hold hands and be walking at two different places. That connection, that closeness will be lacking, and it will not even give you an opportunity to hold hands. And that's what a lot of people are missing in their relationship. They have to make a concerted effort to keep people in their lives. And a lot of people in this day and age, they have no desire to keep anybody in their life that can't keep up with them or slow themselves down for them. They just don't. And sometimes, that be the very reason why the other person doesn't adjust. Because that person has to feel the closeness. They have to feel the desire from the other person to even want to keep the pace, to even want to speed up. The person that's interested in doing something, they find a way to do it. Just like if that salesman is trying to sell something, if he does not have the desire to sell it to that person, then he's not going to keep the pace. He's going to slowly start slowing down and going to let the guy keep going, or the woman keep going, and let them go to wherever they got to go and pick another person to do it. And that's just how relationships are today. A lot of people just say, you know what? I don't have the energy for this. But if you really wanted it, you would find a way. There would be something that you would do. You either try to get that person's number, or you try to figure out a way to find a way to catch them at a different time. And sometimes people feel like if this ain't the time, if this ain't our moment in life, then we ain't meant to be together. And sometimes you cross paths with that very same person years later. Some people have been living in the same city for years, feeling like if that person that they're talking to that lives in the same city isn't ready for them right now, then it's never going to be ready. And we might as well never be talking again. And don't even try to think about rekindling this, because you didn't already try it and it didn't work out. That's just how people look at things. And it's so sad, because it really starts to shape how people operate every avenue of their life. That idea works in every avenue of life. And it's sad because you can't really take any steps to growth with that type of mindset. Nothing sprouts, nothing grows long. The roots don't even get strong enough. Like, it's easy to pluck it out. And that's the problem. People be talking like, oh, well, me and this guy was talking for 3 months and he's already talking to somebody else. These guys ain't loyal, or this girl was able to come stealing from me because of this and this and that, and vice versa. Man be like, oh, I'm talking to this girl, we didn't even get to connect for that long, and she's already talking to someone else, and I thought that we were going to be able to talk for a long. It's because one person want to move at a different pace, and they're not willing to move at the pace of you. The successful relationships are ones that are moving at the same pace and finding ways to keep up with the other. It's a self-sacrifice and love. Self-sacrifice, meaning that you have to self-sacrifice. You have to sacrifice a part of yourself to make that relationship work. And the best ones are the ones that have two people that are doing that. One day, like, babe, come on. I know you don't really like running, but today I want to run. Can we go for a run? Can we, And then the other day, she like, babe, I just want to take a long walk on the beach. You want to take a long walk? And he's like, all right, cool, I'll do. That is how it has to be. Both of you, so that you both can go through your life enjoying it. Yeah, some days he's not going to want to run. Yeah, some days she's not going to want to walk. And some days he's not going to want to walk and she's not going to want to run. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to balance it so that each person is getting just what they wanted, just what they want out of life. Until they come to a part in their life where you're 60 and all you can do is walk. And all she can do is walk. And then you see that all that time y'all did trying to live at a different pace all brought you to this now same exact part of your life where all y'all want to do is walk. All you can really do is walk. That's what you have to really start looking at life. Because once you get older and you start realizing that life starts to find a way to slow you down, in every avenue starts to try to slow you down. And the people that embrace that they don't have to slow down are the ones that continue to keep moving. And the ones that just become content with the fact that they got to slow down, they live happily too. You're like, well, okay, I'm living slowly. And then you got those people that life tells them to slow down, They don't want to. And they become miserable, 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 miserable because they have to slow down. They can't find any other way to enjoy it because all they think is one way. It's very important, people, that you find a way to make sure that your partner is enjoying their time with you, with themselves. Let me repeat that. You gotta make sure your partner is enjoying their time with you, with themselves. Got to. That is when the relationship flourishes. When you always see those videos of the guy and he's playing 2K or whatever, he's watching the game and she's laying on his lap reading a book. Those two people have found a way to coexist. That book that she reading ain't never gonna get loud enough for her to disturb his game. And maybe he can put his game on mute, but gotta find a way. Gotta find a way. All right, people.